Hello, my archivists. Whose shocking death rocks the entire X-Men team to its core? And will Matt Murdock's identity finally be exposed? This is the Ordered Omnibus, or we intend to find out. But that's not all. Doctor Doom achieves his sinister goal and steals Reed Richards' powers. The Runaways are forced to deal with their first tragic death. We also see Logan square off against his past in a terrifying confrontation. The Ultimate Six suffer a devastating loss, and the Exiles are forced to make an impossible choice to save the Omniverse. Again. The stakes are higher than ever, so let's get into those panels because they're not going to read themselves. But before you do, don't forget to dash that bell, delve deep into the details, and drop your definitive declarations down below and discover the next dimension with us. Daredevil, Volume 2, Issue 55. Wolverine decides to open up to Maya by recounting a profound story the Chief once shared with him. It's centered on a man whom Logan suspects was also Native American, who struggles internally despite being fundamentally good. Logan theorizes the man's past might have included run-ins with the law or a difficult upbringing that prevented him from achieving his full potential. To illustrate his inner conflict, the man told the Chief, "There are two dogs inside of me. One of the dogs is mean and evil, and the other dog is good. The mean dog fights the good dog all the time." And Logan immediately identified with this struggle. He understood the good dog as represented by positive intentions, order, purpose, and the respect for oneself and others, while the evil dog was rabid, self-indulgent, beast full of anger, blame, and desire to lash out at the world. The story continues when someone asks the man which of the two dogs ultimately wins. The man pauses, reflecting deeply before delivering the answer that changed everything for Logan. "The dog that wins is the one that I feed the most." The revelation instantly resonated with Logan, who had spent a lifetime dealing with setbacks, abuse, and manipulation, from the adamantium bonded to his skeleton to the murder of Silver Fox by Sabretooth. He realized that the more he focused on blame, anger, and revenge, the more he fed that mean, destructive dog. And it wasn't until he shed his ego and consciously chose to focus on the sense of purpose and the good in his life that his reality shifted, proving to him the power of enacting a positive story. Logan, slightly in his cups, is opening up because Maya's vision quest. He admits he shared this story with her because the man who originally told it died shortly after, before he could truly apply the major law of nature he had discovered. Logan acknowledges he's been, and sometimes still is, a jerk who lets the mean dog win. But this story lit a fire under him to at least try to cultivate the potential that others saw in him. Maya becomes tearful, stunning Logan by revealing that she heard the same story as a child, and it was her father's words told to the Chief right before he died. Now she finally understands her father's legacy. She realizes that her search for meaning in the historical or modern hero myths was external, but people are actually writing their own powerful mythology every single day, possessing the Manitou, the power to plant something positive in the hearts of others. After Maya sleeps and has a vision quest confirming that her father Lincoln guided her through the vision quest, she awakens to find Logan gone and the sun rising. Later in Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil catches her performance of her stories through sign, dance, and music, including her play Parts of a Whole, where he recognizes himself. Matt tells her he's glad that she's found her place and that when Maya moves in to kiss him, he lets her. A poignant, silent goodbye. Maya Lopez is now Echo, realizing her story is not told in sound, but in movement, silence, and the mood and color of her words. She embraces her mantle as a storyteller, puts on her Echo uniform, and performs her next play at the local theater. Emma Frost, Volume 1, Issue 6. Fellow fanatics, we open on a heart-wrenching scene at New England Hospital following the suicide attempt of Christian Frost, who is still hooked up to tubes and machines. The entire Frost family is gathered: Hazel, Adrian, Cordelia, and Emma. Adrian, ever the schemer, offers a hollow attempt at an apology, which Emma sees right through, yet doesn't care about. Her concern is purely for Christian. When the icy patriarch Winston Frost arrives, he immediately dismisses his son's tragedy, asking Emma, the one who found Christian and called 911, if she also phoned the press. After the doctor confirms Christian is stable, Winston erupts, prioritizing his reputation over his son's life. He's more worried about the story ending up on the front page of the Boston Herald than his boy's recovery. When Emma insists on seeing her brother, her father grabs her arm and orders his chief of staff, Bryce, to forcibly remove her. Struggling, Emma shouts the truth back at her father, "I hate you!" and tells him Christian's trauma is his fault, a moment of raw truth that Winston ignores completely. 2 weeks later, at the Frost House, an exhausted Emma finds Christian watching TV in his hospital bed, specifically a news report about the X-Men, a new group of powerful teenage freaks. Christian, sporting a terrible rope burn, is listless and isolated. He tells Emma he's sorry she found him, but mentally wishes she'd let him die, a harrowing thought that makes Emma flee in tears. As the family preps for one of Winston's opulent parties, complete with a Rosler grand piano for that old-world aesthetic, Emma tries to bond with her sisters. She and Adrian head to the back, where Adrian, the family's obvious favorite, condescendingly tells Emma to stop fighting their father and trying to get back into his good graces. This triggers Emma's suspicion about her mother, Hazel, and her excessive exhaustion. Emma heads to the bathroom and finds the cabinet overflowing like a miniature pharmacy. The situation escalates when Emma discovers Christian high and disoriented, realizing the drugs didn't come from their mom, but from Cordelia, who defensively threw Christian some pills just to get him to stop hounding her. The night of the party, Emma is desperate. She confronts Christian, who is completely wasted and dressed in a bizarre beret, telling him she loves him, only for him to dismiss her warning as an after-school special intervention, making it clear she can't reach him. Having exhausted all other options, Emma approaches her father, only to be stunned when Winston drops the icy veneer, sincerely telling her he respects her rebelliousness, finding her actions, like running her brother out to his lover's place, an echo of his own youth. This rare moment of praise prompts Emma to believe his promise that he will arrange for Christian to receive immediate care. Winston then gathers the family for a major announcement. He has decided which of his children will be his heir. After dismissing Cordelia and briefly considering Adrian, he points to Emma. Emma, yes. Before Emma can process the shock, 3 men from the Snow Valley Pavilion for the mentally disturbed arrive to make a pickup. Winston has changed his mind. As the sedated Christian is dragged away, he asks Emma why she did this, to which a devastated Emma thinks, "Never again." She throws on her coat, leaves her father's crumbling kingdom, and vows to forge her own path, setting the stage for her legendary career. Note, this scene of the heir choosing, coupled with Christian's institutionalization, retcons the story Emma told in Generation X number 24, where she claimed she was the one locked up, proving she twisted the truth to cope with the trauma, a detail later confirmed in New X-Men number 139. Exiles, Volume 1, Issue 39. Narrative navigators, in this broken reality, the mutant war seemingly ended, and in Washington, D.C., President Kelly is celebrating the success of his anti-mutant operation alongside Gyrich. Kelly calls the Avengers race traitors, and is pleased with his Sentinels protecting humanity, only for the smug celebration to be interrupted by the worst possible news. Magneto has launched a massive asteroid at Earth, giving them less than 24 hours until global extinction. And meanwhile, at the Pentagon's Sentinel Corps, General Ross and his aide are monitoring the cleanup. They believe the mutant threat is over, aside from the ones on Asteroid M, until the system starts flashing with errors. Colossus and Gambit are apparently alive again, and unknown superpowered entities like Hyperion and Miss Marvel are being tracked alongside the other survivors. Suddenly, a Sentinel is blasted outside the building and 2 heroes crash the party. Hyperion, ignoring Miss Marvel's call for backup, begins to brutally destroy the Sentinel Corps, while Ross is left sputtering questions. The battle turns ugly as Miss Marvel mocks Hyperion for abandoning her, only to be hit by a Sentinel blast herself. With her energy attack recharging, she desperately yells for Hyperion's help, who dismisses her. He's busy frying the main computer, telling her his action will take out all of the Sentinels, including the ones that are attacking her. After the core melts down in an explosion, a pissed-off Miss Marvel laments that after their history, she could have at least popped a few heads for her. Back in D.C., the Sentinels' destruction continues, with one crashing into the side of the White House, jolting President Kelly mid-plan session. As Kelly panics, Hyperion appears. hoisting the now dead President Kelly into the air and proclaiming, "Long live the King." With Miss Marvel holding a defeated Gyrich at bay, the two new rulers are confronted by Magneto, Rogue, and the Brotherhood, who arrive via teleportation from Asteroid M. Rogue, loving the chaotic vibe, tells the pair she loves what they've done with the place. Magneto quickly cuts to the chase. He came to offer salvation to their genetic equals before the asteroid ends life on Earth in 15 hours. Magneto has no interest in stopping it, only in securing servants for his space colony. Hyperion, now firmly in king mode, smirks and tells Magneto that he has no choice. Stop the asteroid and stay with him, or die. An enraged Magneto orders the Brotherhood to attack. But the battle is a massacre. Hyperion unleashes his heat vision, burning Wolverine to a smoking adamantium skeleton. He then grabs Magneto by the helmet, instantly incinerating Mystique when she shoots him. Hyperion reveals he is not of this earth and has no iron in his blood, making Magneto's powers useless against him. Despite pleas from Iceman and Rogue to stop the asteroid and forge a new life, Magneto refuses, and Hyperion flies him towards the massive space rock. And in a final act of defiance, Magneto refuses to yield, and Hyperion simply implodes Magneto's head, leaving his body floating dead in the vacuum. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Vanisher successfully teleports the remaining survivors, Gambit, Spider, Kitty, and Colossus, to Storm's impenetrable field, just as the grim reality ends. Fantastic Four, Volume 1, Issue 508. Omni-Archivists. As seen previously, Doom is now using the body of the Invisible Woman as an unwitting marionette, and the combined forces of the Fantastic Four and the UN are flat out impotent against the lethal force fields Doom is weaponizing. During the chaos, Doom inadvertently punts Human Torch into the dimensional rift, which sets up a future shockwave, while Nick Fury arrives just in time to see the sheer anomaly and correctly deduces that this is a transmogrification and not a murderous heel turn by Sue. Hold up, Doom bursts out of the castle to see Reed Richards, the man he despises more than anything, has initiated a hostile corporate takeover of Latveria during his stay in Hell. He is absolutely apoplectic. The Fantastic Four and Fury corner the master villain, but even though he's weaponizing Sue's powers with frightening efficiency, he's psychologically unprepared to deal with the Fantastic Four's unyielding synergy. The Thing creates a sonic cacophony by pounding on the force shield, while Torch uses blazing heat illusions as a split-second decoy. Mr. Fantastic then blasts Doom with a device that nullifies Sue's abilities, forcing Doom to perform another gnarly body swap, this time vaulting into Johnny Storm's flaming body. With Doom now jetting off like a maniacal rocket to find his armory bone dry, Reed realizes his fatal error. He doesn't have the bandwidth to convert UN lethal weapons into non-lethal deterrents. The kill switch is armed. Fury then delivers the ultimate mic drop to the UN. Doom is back, yes, but the FF is still in existential hot water for their brazen and international coup attempt. The situation goes from bad to absolutely radioactive as Doom executes the final, most devastating body swap. He seizes the Thing. Now an unstoppable orange behemoth, Doom grabs the powerless Johnny and issues a lethal ultimatum, forcing Reed to face an impossible Kantian-level moral conundrum: terminate his best friend to save his family. Victor, the absolute sadist, taunts Reed, but then Ben Grimm's indomitable personality surfaces for one final heroic moment, fighting off Doom's influence just enough to beg his best friend to pull the trigger. With a single heavy tear and an absolutely no other recourse, Reed snatches the weapon from Nick Fury and unleashes a fatal blast right through Ben's chest. The influence is gone, and the Thing is dying. His final wishes are perfect: an assurance that this wasn't Reed's fault, a farewell to Franklin and Valeria, and a final wistful reflection that his death wasn't closer to Yancey Street. What a revolting development. 6 weeks later, and the fallout is massive. The Fantastic Four's public reputation is utterly sullied by the coup, forcing the gift shop to shutter. But Sue receives a voicemail. Reed vows to find a way to resurrect Ben. Epic. Period. Runaways, Volume 1, Issue 9. It's 2:35 in the morning and these kids are still running on fumes and hormones. Nico and Topher are locking lips while Alex sulks 6 feet away, whispering, "Why?" to himself like a bored hall monitor. Nico pushes Topher off, calling the whole thing wrong, while Alex barges into the room with his glare and his wounded ego. Topher bails, diaper jokes intact, leaving Alex to try to lay down some man logic on Nico about betrayal and nice guys. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew are knee-deep in the shenanigans. Talkback conjures a fiery stick figure that Topher mistakes for a flaming monkey? Molly snores like a champ. Gert admits she hasn't slept in 4 days since witnessing the murder and finding a dinosaur, and Talkback brags about his Howard Stern routine. Topher finally heads to bed, but Nico and Alex keep circling each other in a puff and smoke drama loop. Accusations flying, feeling bruised, teenage angst at full tilt. By the time Topher wanders into Carolina's quarters, the night's only getting messier. He tries to bond over Beatles trivia, but she barely listens, and then breaks down about mutant identity and unrequited crushes. She denies that it's Alex, thank God, and admits Topher smells like old baloney, but still calls him sorta cute. She kisses him. Nico spies, and suddenly the triangle becomes a square. Carolina reveals her alien light powers, blasting Nico when she interrupts. Nico retaliates with mud, and the two scream about who's kissing whose guy. Gert storms in with old Lace, yelling at them to knock it off, but Nico collapses as her staff reabsorbs into her chest. Alex arrives to mansplain the mechanics. Nico storms out furious, and Gert tells him to back off. The hotel feels less like a hideout and more like a collapsing soap opera set. Outside the kids' chaos, the parents are busy spinning theories about convenience store robbers. The Wilders consult the Hayes, the Dean, the Steins, and the Yorks and the Minorus, each dismissing mutants, aliens, time travels, and cursed artifacts with a chorus of "Feh." Everyone's got a theory and nobody's got an answer. And the Minorus ominously warn Wilder he won't like what's really going on. The issue closes with Topher following Nico into the woods, smoothing things over with an apology before dropping his secret. Those parents at Circle K weren't his parents at all, and their powers didn't come from an accident. They came from him. Topher bares his teeth, razor-sharp vampire fangs gleaming in the dark, and the Runaways' late-night melodrama takes a hard left into horror. Ultimate Spider-Man, Volume 1, Issue 1. True Believers, the drama kicks off in the home of Walter Dini, who's running damage control for the Kingpin. Dini and a hapless investment banker named Mr. Moore are watching a news recording of the heist pulled off by Black Cat and Spider-Man. Dini is disappointed in Moore for failing to recover the stolen tablet piece, but Moore is absolutely furious. He defends himself, yelling that Dini is putting him in an awkward position, especially since Moore himself is supposed to be a valuable asset to the Kingpin. But the moment Moore slips and mentions the Kingpin, Dini pounces, reinforcing that Wilson Fisk is thoroughly disappointed in Mr. Moore for losing the tablet piece. Moore insists he's just a simple banker and needs professional help to retrieve the artifact. Dini responds by handing Moore a card instructing him to hire someone skilled. A service Mr. Fisk doesn't offer, but one he certainly facilitates. While the criminal underworld organizes a hit, Peter Parker's world falls apart. He gets slapped with Saturday detention for sleeping in class, and then outside Midtown High he meets MJ. Peter laments being mistakenly labeled as a cat burglar after the heist, but MJ informs him that her father, Greg, is serious in forbidding her from talking to him. Peter refuses to believe it, which spirals their conversation into a bitter, devastating argument. This caused their relationship to snap, and MJ leaves Peter standing alone in a huff. Distraught, Peter heads to the Daily Bugle, where Robbie Robertson asks him to log some personal ads. While browsing the letters, Peter discovers a substantial amount of cash for a half-page ad, and Robbie reads the message out loud. Spider, Spider, I was intrigued about our last meeting. Were you? Life is too short. We should explore this. Meet me one roof over from the last. The Cat. Peter is instantly on alert. The Black Cat wants a meeting? The fellow fanatics, the plot threads immediately collide. Moore meets with the skilled mercenary Dini recommended, who is none other than the deadly assassin Elektra. He pays her the money and she forcibly instructs him to leave. And later that night, Peter attempts to call MJ, only to hang up after remembering Greg is guarding the phone line. Dejected, Peter decides to keep the date with the Black Cat. Spider-Man swings to the designated rooftop and is shocked to find the Black Cat waiting with cheese and wine? She genuinely wants to talk, eat, and drink. They share a brief, unmasked conversation while Petey's spider sense suddenly screams. He barely has time to tackle Black Cat to the ground before a sigh flies right past them. They look up to see Elektra besetting upon them, ready to finish the job. Comic Crusaders, Peter went from a romantic rooftop date to a desperate fight for his life against one of the deadliest assassins in the Marvel Universe. Get ready for a battle royale. Ultimate 6, Volume 1, Issue 5. True believer, this chapter kicks off an immediate, desperate fallout of the initial Sinister Six breakout. Nick Fury is absolutely seething at Triskelion, forced to watch his agents pick through the disaster site the villains left behind. Thankfully, Bruce Banner managed to sleep through the entire thing, but S.H.I.E.L.'s first priority is to secure the most valuable target. They find and take Aunt May to a secure, protected location. Now for the devastating ultimatum. Peter wakes up bruised and reeling after being electrocuted and captured by the Five. Immediately, Norman Osborn turns the screws and he drops the ultimate piece of blackmail. Peter refuses to help the Five with their final move. Osborn will ensure Aunt May is killed. With his family's safety on the line, Peter is given absolutely no choice and agrees to join them. This forced alliance sets the stage for utter chaos, but before the war begins, Captain America lays down the cold, hard truth to Nick Fury. Cap argues that S.H.I.E.L.D. and everyone else are entirely to blame for the maniacs currently tearing up the city, all because they'd been obsessed with trying to recreate Captain America. They build monsters when they're trying to build heroes. And Fury's about to fire back, but suddenly he realizes. He figures out exactly what the Ultimate Six are truly going to do, and the gravity of the impending attack hits him like a shockwave. And this is the moment the villains make their move. At the White House, Norman makes one final call to the Chief of Staff, and when the Chief tries to stall, telling Norman an agreement is a no-go, Osborn agrees to meet, but it's a trap. The lights of the White House are instantly killed, and the entire room is bombarded with electricity. Now, outside, the poor soldiers attempting to defend the Capitol are immediately electrocuted and killed. Out of the chaos and fire, the full team is seen marching directly towards the White House. But just as they approach the final defense line, the sky tears open. A S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier comes screaming down from above, deploying the Ultimates. The battle for the Capitol is officially on, and Spider-Man is caught directly in the middle. The only thing worse than an unstoppable supervillain team is one that has the reluctant Spider-Man fighting alongside them. Get ready for a monumental clash. Wolverine, Volume 3, Issue 9. True believers, the hunt begins under the clear night sky as a young man quietly washes his clothes on the banks of the Rio Grande. His peace is instantly shattered when Wolverine strides right out of the river carrying his boots and simply saying, "Nice night," before heading inland. Logan quickly stalks into the local shanty town, his enhanced senses straining to catch a scent. After ignoring some curious card players, Logan follows a lead to a building with a drug dealer inside. And in a flash, the muscular drug dealer is thrown right out the door into the mud. He charges back inside, threatening to cut Logan open, but soon stumbles back out, screaming and clutching his eyes, with blood pouring from his freshly made adamantium claw wounds. Logan stands looking at the wasted people inside and demands, "Now that that's finished, who wants to tell me where to find Rojas?" When they can't answer, Logan forces a local named Sandro into becoming his new best friend. And with a hand on his shoulder, he asks once again, "Where can I find Rojas?" Meanwhile, across the border in El Paso, Border Patrol agent Cassie Lathrop is running her own obsession. Ignoring the orders to lock up, she circles the name Garcia Nestor on a file and tracks him down to a local bar. Nestor and the barman instantly peg her as a cop and tell her she's not the first girl to become fascinated with his friend. Well, Logan, of course. And she won't be the last, joking about pheromones and machismo. He reveals he told his friend that Cassie has been chasing him all the way from Oregon and even chased into a burning warehouse just because she thought he might be in there. The woman is completely obsessed. The action ramps up when Wolverine returns with Sandro to confront two more mules, Hector and Ruben. When Sandro talks too much, Ruben pulls a hidden gun from under the table, cocking his weapon and daring Logan to go meet Rojas. Logan is faster and he flings the table towards Ruben, sending Hector flying and pops his claws. The shot misses and Wolverine goes on offensive, quickly slashing Ruben and snorting, "Stop complaining, you'll live." Logan throws Hector to the ground and forces him to drive them straight to Rojas's villa. And as they approach, a guard named Felix takes a warning call and is instructed to kill both of them. Felix and his partner open fire, smashing Hector's truck apart and killing Hector instantly. But the hail of bullets misses Logan, who springs out of the darkness and shreds the guard's partner with 6 claws. Logan is pinned under a spotlight, facing at least half a dozen gunmen, while Rojas coolly tells the men to handle it and heads back to bed. Logan goes into berserker rage, wading through his opponents, ripping his way onto the villa grounds. He approaches the figure standing in the open doorway and unleashes his fury. Rojas, 19 men, women and children dead. Make your last words good ones. And then the jaw-dropping twist hits. Rojas answers, very well. Life is cheap on the border. Now, if you're going to kill me and my baby, please go on with it. Otherwise, we need our sleep. Standing in the doorway is Rojas, who Wolverine notices is a young and clearly pregnant woman. Logan came for revenge, but he's just stumbled into a moral minefield. Where does Logan go from here? New X-Men, Volume 1, Issue 150. Out of the blinding blaze of the sun, Phoenix takes flight, born of Jean Grey and wrapped in a cocoon of thought and cosmic fire. Inside of the raptor, Wolverine's body knits itself back together through nerve-burning pain, joking about what he's supposed to be looking at until the flames dissolve into ethereal void of quicksilver globes. Jean, glowing in the dark Phoenix garb, explains he released the Phoenix consciousness, that she used the asteroid and the sun's energy to craft their transport, admitting she had to die to come back and doesn't know how long she'll be allowed to stay. With a sweep of her will, the Quicksilver reshapes into a sleek silver vessel bound for Earth. And far below, Emma Frost and the Beast bicker on their ghost island of wreckage. Emma insists that she saved him, while Beast scratches equations into the fuselage with his dulled claws, muttering about sublime, kick, riots, aggression, and how they're all connected. Emma spots a fiery light in the sky, a massive telepathic emission. But when the vision resolves into a seamless silver core wrapped in flame, she sighs. It's bloody Jean showing off again. In Washington, the Oval Office hums with tension as aides warn Magneto holds Manhattan hostage, threatening to tilt the Earth's axis, demanding the warheads that kill mutations stone dead. The president balks at bombing American soil, but Magneto on New Genoshan soil scowls beneath his helmet, declaring that his followers are impatient. And this is a war, and wars take time. Ernst relays Martha Johansson's warning that he should have stayed Mr. Zorn. Magneto snarls, but Angel leaps between them, shouting that her kids don't want a murdering junkie running the world, and Esme snaps that she was just a means to an end. Magneto insists that he's in charge, but Beak appears patched up, titanium bat in hand, declaring that the X-Men are here to kick his butt. And Magneto grins, summons the bat to his own hands, congratulates Beak, and orders Esme to pacify him. She refuses, and before Magneto can act, Phantom X arrives in white, pistols blazing, shattering the window and blasting Magneto to the floor. Magneto orders his Brotherhood to attack, but only Toad leads forward, and Phantom X drops him with bullets to the knees. Magneto races his field, sneering that Phantom X missed, but Xavier's tank begins to drain behind him. Magneto counterattacks, tearing the floor apart and commanding Phantom X to die, wrapping him in a metal shaped like a cross. Esme senses something telepathically, muttering, "Here he comes," as Cyclops erupts from below, optic blast hammering Magneto into a crater. Cyclops rages that he trusted Zorn, that he thought he was Hope, but it was Magneto all along, smashing him with his fists, declaring that he's done running from rage. He blasts Magneto's helmet, shattering it, leaving him bleeding and blinded. But Magneto rises enough to smash Cyclops with Zorn's helmet. While across town, the Stepford Cuckoos coordinate telepathic crowd control, welcoming Professor X back, while in the ruins, Esme mocks Magneto as a fossil and drives into his mind. Magneto erupts, tearing the metal from her body, leaving her collapsed. He dons the helmet again, declaring that history will judge him, commanding the sky to fall as stealth bombers break radio silence under a second sun. Beast's voice kicks in, introducing himself as Dr. Henry McCoy, assuring the pilots that the X-Men have Manhattan well under control. The president retorts that Magneto has declared war, but Beast insists that not all mutants are enemies, reminding them that he alone can repair the gene threatening humanity. And in the tower, Emma finds dying Esme, praises her twisted strength, and lays her down as Cyclops arrives. Now, Emma mocks Cyclops, but he admits that he's been thinking. Magneto did all of this, and Emma snaps about Jean's forgiveness. The Cuckoos announce that Magneto's plan is to twist gravity and time itself. Floating above Manhattan, Magneto, disguised as Zorn, declares that the promised day has come. Officer Foster, battered but defiant, declares that he's under arrest. Magneto sneers, lifts him by the metal pin in his hip, and orders his followers to kill him. But Jean descends in Phoenix fire, saving Foster. Beast tackles Magneto, drives syringes into his collar, explaining that they'll neutralize the kick enhancer. Muttering in disbelief that he's the one doing this, that he, of all people, Zorn. Magneto surges back, hurling Beast away, driving the syringes into him instead. Rises, declaring that he is Magneto, and Wolverine confronts him, claws bared, reminding him of the sun. Phoenix mocks his theatrics, urging him to seize his moment. But the crowd jeers, calling him a skull-faced freak who couldn't run a market stall. Magneto rages, insisting that he is Magneto. Jean twists the knife, asking how he can be Magneto when Magneto is dead. Xavier arrives, declaring the worst thing that Magneto ever did was come back, and that he was a legend in death, but now just another old man with outdated dreams. Magneto collapses, but as Jean kneels, he seizes her arm, unleashing a lethal electromagnetic pulse, leaving her reeling in horror. Magneto dons the helmet again, demanding death, demanding immortality, but Wolverine roars in anguish and sorrow, severing Magneto's head in a single stroke. Cyclops rushes into Jean, begging her to hold on, but she whispers no, while the Cuckoos announce something's wrong with the universe itself. Cyclops cradles her, apologizing, saying he never meant to hurt her. Jean, fading, tells him the Phoenix understands, and then in her human voice she says she's never seen him so alive. Scott, her best friend, she has to go now. Her final breath urges her to live because all she ever did was die on him. Cyclops cries out, his voice fading into the white light of the beyond until there is only light. 150 years later, a small spacecraft cobbled together from the remains of the terrestrial automobile skims across the lunar wasteland. The barren surface gives way to the ancient ruins of the blue area of the moon. Two passengers disembark, one climbing into a crevice, while the other calls out, reminding him that the Corona said she saw it. The explorer replies aye, and at the bottom of the crevice, surrounded by graffiti on the ancient walls, lies a glowing oval orb. Staring at the terrible prize, he mutters, "God help us all. I think we found the Phoenix egg." Fellow fanatics, we've come to the end of another exciting episode, but the madness has just begun, so join us next time as we dive into the unforgettable conclusion of the February 2004 arc. Can Storm survive the arena and the Morlocks from her past? Can Juggernaut survive the attack by the imposter with the power of Cytoric? And Fred is unleashed on Wolverine. And as a side note, Spider-Man gets a costume critique from a super tailor. Can you remember where we saw that costume most recently? Leave a comment below if you do. And get ready for more seismic stories and staggering showdowns. And don't forget to dash that bell, delve into the details, drop your definitive declarations down below, and discover the next dimension with us. Here's the titles we'll be covering next episode. We'll be seeing you next episode. Same ordered time, same ordered omnibus.